So first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for the lack of videos over the past few days. Now, one example is just my schedule being a bit too hectic. Another day, I was a little bit under the weather. And then when it came time to finally upload this video, I ended up seeing that one of my videos, well, actually a few of my videos were flagged. Now, that would include the last Hartford episode, episode 18. It would also randomly include two different Alan Wake episodes. Why they were flagged, I don't know. It doesn't give me a reason. I can only assume it's because of foul language. Although, admittedly, I don't recall swearing too much in the last episode. Sure, it went pretty poor for us, but compared to some other episodes in the past, I don't recall being overly obnoxious when it comes to swearing in response to whatever happened. So, I was going to upload these videos, this and the Montreal video, but I've had to go back through, and, I mean, in the case of the Hartford video, I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't know. So that explains the delay, and I guess moving forward to play it safe, I'm either going to just completely censor out swearing, I'm going to try not to, which, again, in like a public setting or at a job, I can put on a filter. But when I'm literally, right now, sitting in my room, just speaking into a microphone, playing a video game, it can be tough to remember to, kind of view it as a job. But I don't need that trend of my videos being flagged. I don't need that to be a trend in general. I'm hoping this is a one-off. If I clean things up, hopefully we're good. But as of recording this episode right now, I put in a review. Hopefully it's overturned because that means I'm losing ad revenue. And I've mentioned before, I'm not afraid to talk about money. I don't make a ton of money off of YouTube and Twitch even combined. It's certainly not enough for it to be my full-time job or anything, or even a part-time job, really. But the thought of my ad revenue and my income as such from YouTube being slashed because I swear doesn't sit too well. So I will say, I'm sorry for any delays with these videos, but it's mainly now been a thought of, okay, how do I move forward, and making sure that I've actually, that I'm actually going to have to put a conscious effort into not swearing. Because that's the only thing I can really think of as to why that video would have been flagged. And here's the thing, right? With the Alan Wake videos, they're low enough in the view count. It's not like I would have made money off of those. And you have to have a certain views within the past few days to even request a review with the videos. So thankfully with the Hartford video, I could request the manual review as to whether or not it should have been flagged rightfully or not. With the Alan Wake videos, I can't. And here's the thing though, right? With the Alan Wake videos, I can understand. I can understand with the Alan Wake videos because I should have put a foul language warning on those particular videos. But I also told you guys, for those who watched that, and again, I thank you if you did, but for those that watched that, I am not good when it comes to games that are even slightly scary. I'm not good with that situation. So those two, it's weird though, there were only two of them that were flagged. Those being flagged, I understand. The last Hartford episode, I don't, but it is what it is. I just have to move forward and hope that it's not a common theme. Like I said, it's the timing of it. The particular video, the timing of it. I have put out other videos that could be deemed a lot more offensive than that last Hartford episode. And I got to go back and watch it and see for sure how many times I happened to swear or whatever. That's the only thing, again, that I can think of as the Pittsburgh Penguins win the Stanley Cup. It's the only thing I can think of is that it had to be because of swearing. But I can remember back to certain like Rebuilding Hockeytown episodes that would have been a whole lot worse. I can remember other videos that would have been a lot worse. So it's a weird spot. But again, we'll drop that. I said everything I had to say. Again, I'm sorry for the delay. First and foremost, I'm sorry for the delay. Although it is funny because it was talked about on Twitch, like, oh, are you just going to put that video, like, am I going to re-upload episode 17 and just kind of, edit out the swearing, which, I don't know. I might just chalk that video up as a loss, because otherwise I'd have to be like, hey, I put this video back up. You don't have to watch it, but just put the video on mute and let it play back through. Like, I could do that, but I don't know if I feel comfortable asking you guys to do that for me. I don't know. It's a really weird situation, and it's almost like it's an about time sort of deal. Like, what took YouTube so long? Why was that the video to have these problems start up? But it just goes to show that even your old pal Toogie can be affected by the adpocalypse, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. As if I wasn't depressed enough in terms of just having to move on with the Whalers after what happened in the last episode, being eliminated in the first round. Not just eliminated, I mean, we were trounced by Calgary. It wasn't even close. And then you have the delays and the ads, and it's just, oh God, what a mess. What a mess. But our attempt to dig ourselves out of it begins right now with this draft. And I was tempted to take a look at who has an expiring deal. At this point, I mean, it's probably too late to re-sign them anyway. That was the what I was alluding to, is maybe it would have been the right idea to go after certain players. I mean, we are going to have, let's see, Polka, Brodin, Gardner. I mean, Hansel and Perry we're going to let go of. And we're actually not in too bad of a spot, all things considered. So let's take a look at our current draft pick situation. I don't really know if we're going to aim to make any major moves here as far as potentially trading up or maybe trading for players that are on the block. Let's take a look, because again, it's been a few days now having to go back through this, that it's it's going to take me a minute to kind of remember where we were. So we have the 23rd overall pick. We have 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders, 2 fourth-rounders, 3 fifth-round picks, 2 sixth, and 2 7th-round picks. Right. The goaltending situation, we're still good with Korpisalo and Subban, although I have my doubts about Joonas Korpisalo at this point. I mean, the good thing is he's at least worth keeping for the next season, I would say. But there is a chance we could try to work out a deal. As far as the defense goes, I mean, we're still pretty much good to go. We could use maybe a different top 4 defenseman. And then forward-wise, we still have some questions. Absolutely. There are still some players I have doubts about. The bottom 6 right now, and even parts of the top 6, could be improved. So let's take a look around the trading block. And yes, I know I can hit the start button. I keep forgetting. I really should be doing that. So let's see. It's just Christian Dvorak. He is technically a second-line guy. I don't like the passing. No way. Now, the question is, of course, is he actually better than that? You would assume so. He has an expiring deal, career high of 27 points. Well, at least throughout the sim. So, yeah, no thank you. Buffalo, they're trying to shop Kyle Okposo, Hjalmarsson, Beaulieu, and Suter. No thank you. Calgary getting rid of Bruin. Carolina, I believe it's still Derek Ryan if he's 34 years old. Patrick Berglund. At this point, it might just be worth waiting it out. And, Patrick Spalman, how you doing? And seeing how the free agent list shapes up. I don't think we're going to find that major game changer that we're looking for, at least not for cheap. I mean, someone like Jarnkrok might be decent, Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'll at least do my due diligence here, and we'll go through every player. Robert Hagg is not a happy camper. But, yeah, we're not going to find anybody here. Bodker, Silverberg. All right. Yep, there's really nobody that's going to make a difference. Again, the goal is to still compete for the cup. And right now, there aren't any players that are being traded that really help us accomplish that. So we will go ahead. We'll take a look at the draft class. Again, I don't think I'm going to move up. I might have to try to move up. I was mistaken. I am going to have to try and move up if I can. Lucas Lita-Kerr. 17-year-old franchise-level player from the Calgary Hitmen. Good Lord. Is that too offensive, YouTube? Is saying good Lord too offensive now? I mean, is it only offensive if I'm not religious? Which, I mean, we're not getting into that. That's offensive content now, right? I'm sorry. I got to take shots at YouTube where I can. But you got Quick, Lita-Kerr, Harding, Brashear. That top five in general looks amazing. Dupuis could be an incredible goalie. And even Don Simmons looks like a great player. This is an incredible top 10 from all outward appearances. Do we have any steals projected? Aside from Simmons, we don't have exact lead on anybody. Nemish, though, in the 7th round. Nicolishin in the 4th round could work out for us. Franzen, you got Lindros as well. We have some decent information, but without a doubt, Lita-Kerr's the target. I doubt the Islanders want to trade the pick. Of course they don't. It's impossible. Lita-Kerr is going to be a New York Islander. We would have to give up so much to make that happen. Granted, there may be a couple of players we could move out to make it happen. Do we give up a Marner, a Panarin, a Yossi to try and end up with Lita-Kerr? I think we have to. Because my problem right now with our first line is, bottom line is, we need all 4 of these guys to be on the first line. I'm not too happy that they're not, and I'm really concerned about Nolan Patrick. You could argue having Marner on the top line. They're all right-handed shots. Not like that matters. I know a lot of people are content with Artemi Panarin, and I'm not saying 56 points in 65 games is bad. But for someone like Panarin, I would really want him to, I guess, be closer to contending for scoring titles, especially when you look at his stats. Mitch Marner, we had some issues with. I mean, again, the thing with Panarin, 2 points for Marner, 1 point for Panarin. So many players underperformed. But I know right now people are probably shouting Roman Josi. People are probably shouting for me to get rid of Roman Josi. And here's the thing, right? We wanted to be cup contenders. That's why we went out and we traded. That's why we went out and we traded Radek Bulis to Nashville to kind of make things better. Bulis, by the way, is a 63 overall at 20 years old. It looks like his value dropped a little bit, by the way. But we could trade Josi. We very well could. We could trade Josi. Probably in the end trade McDonough as well. Basically, if we look at it, Marner, Pasternak, Patrick, that could still be our main 3. If we give up on Josi, though, odds are we are out of cup contention. Granted, we failed this year. But giving up on our best defenseman, I think we have to do it. If we can potentially get a franchise-level player out of this, it's worth pushing back our plans to be true cup contenders. It's worth it. It's worth it. Now, I doubt that goes through on its own. I doubt it. And of course, it didn't, even though you can see the value bars. So it's not just Roman Josi. It's not just Josi. To be honest, I'm going to try and tack Ryan McDonough onto this as well. I mean, if we're giving up on Roman Josi, we might as well give up on McDonough as well. I mean, the good thing is, though, McDonough only has 2 years left. So maybe not. Maybe we should keep McDonough. Josi has 7 years left. We could get rid of him in the future, but his value is never going to be higher. You could argue McDonough's value is never going to be higher as well. The problem is we don't have that incredible, group of defensive prospects. We do have Jet Wu, and even Eunice Brodin, we could still win technically within his cup window. But again, I mean, even Lita-Kerr, I mean, he's a little elite. Do we push back our cup window? I still think if we get rid of Marner, Panarin, or Pasternak, if we get rid of one of them and keep Roman Josi instead, we could arguably still be cup contenders next season and have a franchise-level player. So I'm leaning towards getting rid of Marner or Panarin. Patrick is staying, Pasternak's staying. It's got to be one of those two. It's got to be one of those two, and I think it goes to Mitch Marner for the sole reason that he has a decent face-off rating. Nolan Patrick, I'd love to play him at center. He's not going to be a center. So we could have Pasternak, Marner, Patrick as our top line next year, and still have Josi and McDonough, still be cup contenders, and then immediately Lita-Kerr would go on to our second line. Artemi Panarin's the odd man out. He had a good season last year. I'm not saying he didn't. I give him all the credit in the world. He had a really good season despite it being injury shortened. The only way we even come close to getting this franchise level player is if we give up Artemi Panarin, and we can do that and still stay in cup contention. Even then, I don't know if we have enough to make this happen. We will try. There is no guarantee. Second round, we're going to try to give up the second round picks first. I want to hold on to our first if we can. Value is still too far off. No real surprise there. All right, what about the first round pick? They want it. They don't want it that much, though. Again, it's going to be tough to get this to go through anyway. It really is. We might have to give up more than just picks. There might have to be another player involved, which is why I was talking about Ryan McDonough. It's not like this is cheap to try and get Lita-Kerr. The game is going to, it's going to make it worth the Islanders' while to complete this deal, if it's at all possible. We're talking already a first-line player, a first and 2 second-round picks. That didn't go through. And with a third-round pick, will that go through? No, it won't. So that's what I'm talking about. We are in an incredibly rough situation. It would be easier if Mikanov was ready, because we could get rid of Korpisalo in this deal. Talk about, I love Yuri Khudobin, but he is 22 years old and a 60 overall. It's time for him to go. He's not going to make it. So Yuri Khudobin can go. Is there anybody else 20 overall, or 60 overall at 20 overall? Could you imagine? 60 overall at 20 years old? That is definitely concerning, but Jorgensen still has time to improve. All right, let's look at forwards. Is there anybody we can tack on to this deal? 66 overall. Yeah, 56 to 64. Is there anybody? We could, of course, just tack a prospect onto this deal. We could give up Ellington, for example. Ellington or Serrata to make this happen. You got Dirksen, Bodens, 67 overall at 22. Low elite. What about Bodens? So Panarin, Khudobin, Bodens. So a first line guy, a good defensive prospect, at least as far as value goes. A good forward prospect, kind of, sort of. Can we get this to go through? I don't think we can. We're talking about multiple first-round picks. In a way, it's worth it. But, oh, man. Let's see. How much would we have to give up to make this happen? I'm trying to keep it fair. Our first-round pick this year and next year, Panarin, Khudobin, Bodens. If that's not a fair deal for one player. I don't know what is. Will it go through? God damn it. Oh, was that offensive? Oh no. Will that go through? No, it won't. Okay. So we're going Panarin, 2 first-round picks. Who else? I mean, again, Hadobin's decent enough. What about a better forward prospect? Yeah, Beckett, Sprong, Roberts. What about Beckett, who was the 9th overall pick in 2019, Devin Beckett? Does that make it worth their while? No, it doesn't. Ah, man. We are talking about gutting our team to make this happen, at least of prospects. At least of prospects. Gardner, Brodin. How can we make this happen? Again, because I know if I don't complete this deal, people are going to say, you should have done this, you should have done that. So I'm looking at every avenue that at least makes sense when it comes to keeping this team competitive, but also acquiring this incredible player. So again, our top 6 is pretty much locked in. There's really nobody we can get rid of. I'll tack Jet Wu onto the deal. He has a little bit more valuable. He's a little bit more valuable. He has a little bit more value than Hadobin. And then as far as this option goes, I mean, it pretty much has to be Beckett. So Wu and Beckett instead, and Hadobin is still somebody I have to get rid of, and I'll probably trade him here. But what about our first round pick this year and our first round pick next year? Will that go through? And it did. You know, I wasn't expecting that, but that was the difference. That was the difference. The slight difference in value between Beckett, or not between Beckett, between Wu and Hadobin. That was the difference to getting that deal done. All right. We just traded Artemi Panarin, Devin Beckett, Jet Wu, and 2 first-round picks for the number 1 overall selection. So again, 2 good prospects, a first-line player, and 2 first-round picks. We have the number 1 overall pick. That was expensive as hell. Was that offensive? That was expensive. But it should be worth it. 17-year-old Lucas Lita-Kerr. Lita-Kerr? I'm going with Lita-Kerr. From the Calgary Hitmen. He is medium franchise 82 overall. Lucas Lita-Kerr is a Hartford Whaler. And again, we are still right there in contention because now our top line is set in stone. Lita-Kerr goes straight to the second line. He is a second line player at 17 years old. Look at the shot. 87 offensive awareness. He is a monster. Oh my God. We gave up a lot to make that happen. Some people might be arguing, I can see both sides of it. Some people might be saying like, oh, it's too easy. We still gave up a lot. We gave up Artemi Panarin, who did great last year. We gave up a lot of picks. We gave up Jet Wu. We gave up organizational depth, but that is because we are going for it. And now with Marner, Pasternak, Patrick, and Lita-Kerr, we are still ready to compete this season. I don't know if that was the right move or not. It's weird because there's that little bit of doubt in my mind. I just got a medium franchise player. A lot of people will like it. A couple of people won't. Maybe they'll be the more vocal about it. But what's done is done. Lita-Kerr is a Whaler, and as you get a look at the other picks here, Quick is amazing. In and of him, on his own, in his own right. That's what I'm trying to say. Harding, great player. Tuzolino, great player. Dupuis was medium elite, only a 61. Brashear was a medium elite. Shingtime, medium elite. Wow. What a high-end draft. Simmons was medium elite, which we kind of knew because of the exact potential. what a draft this was. I mean, we're still getting good picks up into the 20s. When's it going to drop off? I mean, it drops off a little bit with Leclerc, bounces back with Eichel, and now it drops off. You had great picks, essentially. I mean, 23 out of the first 25 picks were incredible high-end talents, and even Nashville gets lucky again. Pittsburgh with a great pick. This has been an incredible draft, but we ended up with the ace, didn't we? We ended up with the ace. And now as far as who we pick here, you got Jose Lundmark. I mean, it's fairly obvious who we should take the chance with. Riley Lindros is there. There's also Holmstrom, the sniper. We got a Frenchman. We got a Canadian, Marvin Del Rio. You got Oberg. I mean, high top 4 Melichar, though. That is tough. I gotta admit, that's a little bit tough, guys. But, I mean, we're going, again, hopefully get Nikolish or Nemish. Hopefully that works out. You could also potentially get Franzen later on. It is risky to take, to select these guys because there is no guarantee. We got 58 seconds. I'm not going off the board. I'm at least going with someone who's projected in the second round. And that player will be Riley Lindros from the Seattle Thunderbirds. He is the pick. And I was afraid of that. Medium top 6. That's the risk you take. That is the risk you take. In fairness, let's see. Bunch of medium top 6s. Oberg was medium elite, though. That sucks. Oberg was medium elite. Was that offensive? I promise I'm only going to kind of joke about that for this episode. I'll move on. So, I mean, in fairness, he was pretty much in line with he was on par with the other selections. The only way I would have been like, oh my God, what a steal, is if we ended up with Oberg. He was the only real steal at this point in the draft. So that is a bit surprising. Melichar is on the board. It's Melichar, Simpson, Beck, or Perron from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Alan Perron, Brian Beck, you got Byron Simpson, or Radoslav Melichar. Right. I have a really good feeling about Perron. Say what you want, even about Peverly. Peverly, Melichar, Simpson, Beck. I feel like there's going to be some really good high-end talent here. I am going to go with my gut. I don't know why. I have a really good feeling about Alan Perron. And I could be completely wrong. But I'm going for it. I'm taking the risk. And that backfired. Beck was medium top 9. Alright. Lindstrom was medium top 9. Melichar was medium top 6. That would have been my other pick. Simpson was medium top 9. Wow. Alright, maybe I shouldn't sweat it too much because nobody is really looking like a steal. Yeah, even Peverly. Alright, well I can't be too upset. I can't, be too angry with my selection. It's a weaker draft here. Pretty much in the immediate aftermath of that first round. Rogers, low top 6. Trafford, Pete, okay, never mind about it being a weaker draft. You get a hell of a lineup of solid players there, and there he is, Foss. Okay, so at the very least, thankfully I took a franchise-level player because I have now missed out on 2 medium elites. But maybe we can find the third at this point in the draft. So let's see, here in the third round, we don't have much information on anybody. Really, there's the complete unknown in Wade Machias. You also have Chureen, high top 6. I mean, that potential hasn't been working out, though, so far in this draft. It really hasn't been working out. Radek Chureen. He's going to be my selection. I don't have much confidence in it, but maybe it'll work itself out, and he's medium top 9. All right, so, again, thankfully Lita-Kerr was there because it's been a little bit rough. Let's take a look here, though. Did we miss out on anybody great? It's not really looking like it. Well, Blue End, Legal. Okay, no. We're missing out on some decent picks. We didn't miss out on anybody that was overly ridiculous. I mean, Nicolishin, the hope is he's at least medium starter if we draft him, right? I mean, my choice here is Machias or Nicolishin, at least in my opinion, which is the only one that factors in right now because this isn't live. Sergei Nicolishin, let's go for it. He's the pick, and he was at least medium starter, which is half decent. It's not a complete steal. Let's see who we missed out on. Murata was low elite. Anybody else? I'll have to go way back in the third round. Belfour, who honestly I thought was going to be a beast, and he isn't. Machias was high 7th. Wow. Cullen was medium top 4. All right, so we at least picked up a half-decent goaltender, but still nothing crazy. We need one unreal pick here to really, I mean, it's a successful draft no matter what. We ended up with a generational talent. But we need somebody else here to really kind of pull this thing together at this point and to make this a truly memorable draft, aside from, of course, ending up with a franchise-level player. Still, Panarin, Wu, the other forward, and 2 first-round picks, man. That's tough. And, of course, we have to make the playoffs now next year. We have to. Chuck Lindsay. I am willing to bet that Chuck Lindsay is at least, he's got to be decent. I'm going to say at least low top 6. A grinder being rated that highly in the 4th round, I think Chuck Lindsay is going to be an incredible player. He played for Red Deer. He's now a Whaler, and he's medium top 9. All right, well. Again, it's not working out tremendously for us. Esch, Cato were low top 4. I wouldn't have selected them anyway. Festerini was low top 6. Anybody else? I mean, that was a shot in the dark pick, in my opinion. We didn't miss out on anybody too great. Again, we are on the clock here. Let's see. You got the unknown in Scrivens. You got Whitney, Giroux, Otterize. The unknown in Ma. Blake Ma. You got Wade Roach, the defenseman. We're not going to go that far off the board, at least not yet. Talking about the potential players, again, 2 7th rounds and then a 5th to 6th round. And even Monroe could be pretty decent. For now, though, we are going to... Do we go with the unknown? Or do we go with a Russ Whitney? A Hugo Giroux? I'm going to go with Russ Whitney. I'm going to hope for the best. Played for Kate Breton. High bottom 6. That's an interesting potential. I'd probably rather have a high bottom 6 player than a medium top 9. It's still not an incredible pick. It's better than what Giroux was, though, and that was the other player that we were considering. Not a bad selection, but again, not overly great. Let's see, did we miss out on anybody tremendous? Scrivens was the other guy I was considering. Glad we missed out on that. So a decent pick, all things considered. And now we're right back to shot in the dark territory. See, you got Roach, low league interest. You got German, the goaltender. High league interest in Lane, but again, he's exact bottom 6, so that doesn't exactly, give me all that much confidence when it comes to that 5th to 6th round. DeSantis. Do I want to trust it? Do I want to risk it for a biscuit? I think I will. Cristiano DeSantis, 19 years old, from the Hamilton Bulldogs. It honestly concerns me that he's 19 years old. And because of that, we're actually going to avoid him. And instead, I'm going to take the complete risk on Wade Roach. He's the only player with a low league interest, and I want to see what that equates to. And that equates to a medium 7th D defenseman. DeSantis is going to be medium elite, just to stick it to me, I'm sure. Seabrook, medium starter. Korobov was low elite, never even considered him as an option. Let's take a look. Sontag was medium starter. Oh boy. Okay, well, DeSantis is still on the board. I guess we have no choice but to go for him this time. Cristiano DeSantis. DeSantis, medium top 9. Again, not great. We haven't had a whole heck of a lot of luck in this draft, have we? Aside from, of course, trading and being a little bit direct about what we wanted. Lackey, Fritz. I mean, at this point, why not just start taking the risks, right? Why not? 3 players that are 7th round projected, 1 that's projected to be undrafted. Let's just go for it. And we're going to go for the power forward, Will Nemish. 6'3", the American. Yeah, he's low top 6. You know what? That's better than what we've been drafting as of late. That is better than what we've been drafting as of late. The question is whether or not... Wen Granowski, hell of a name. Suglobov was a decent pick. The question is, of course, whether or not we missed out. Hey, Knacker. Nice. Is that offensive, by the way? Oh, Lord. Stillman, medium elite goaltender. That's what I was hoping we'd get earlier when we took the goaltender. Didn't quite work out. A medium elite goalie taken at the very end of the 5th round. I didn't take a look at the awards, and don't worry, we'll still do that in this episode. But of course, we were a little bit, just a little bit distracted at the start. So we got Franzen, Bartkowski, and Monroe. Those are looking like my last 3 picks, and we're going to go for the Swede Fredrik Franzen, 18 years old, played for Örebro. Let's take a look, and that sounds about right, doesn't it? Is there anybody else? Please? I mean, again, for me, this draft has been a success. We ended up with a franchise-level player. But for the most part, as far as actually making our picks, it's been a rough go. We're gonna take Monroe. Rory Monroe, the Hungarian, is our next selection. And that is why you don't trust potential and what it says they're going to be, because it never quite works out that way. And then you just sit here and you have to be disappointed. Now, did we miss out on anybody half decent? The answer is no, so that's good, at least. But, all right, we'll take one more shot in the dark pick. Let's go for the grinder, Rob Bartkowski. Played for the Sherbrooke Phoenix, formerly the Lewiston Maniacs. And Bartkowski is about what you would expect from a player of that caliber. You know what? I don't even care to know if there's another steal on the board. I know some of you guys care. I don't care to know. I don't want to know who we missed out on. We actually have one more pick. Oh, boy. Well, did we miss out on anybody then? I completely forgot that we had 2 7th-round picks. Pagadawan? Right. Great name. Anybody else here that we may have missed out on? Hopefully not. Schneider, decent pick for the Rangers. And it looks like that's about it. Okay. So here we go. Who do we go for with this last pick? That is the question. And the answer to who we select is I don't know. I don't know. Looking at high league interest, plenty of players with high league interest. All right. We got a Pogge. We got a Weissmuller. We got a Baumgartner. Actually, here, you know what? Let's call a timeout really quick. Let's go exploring. Tampa ends up with a Happy Bullen, by the way. Let's just do a little bit of exploring here, shall we? Maybe there's a nice goon that we could draft at this point. What do you say? Is there a nice goon available? No? Hey, there's the enforcers. So we have Stu oh my God. 6'8". Man. The Jolly Green Giant. That's his name. It just wrote itself, guys. We're the Hartford Whalers, and we just found the Jolly Green Giant, Stu Bruin. I mean, Jeremy Helms, 6'5", and Aaron McChesney, not bad, but Bruin is the pick. Just for the nickname alone, he has to be. Do we have any enforcer defensemen? Oh my God. The Jolly Green Giant. I mean, what a way to end the draft. You know, we get the franchise with the number 1 pick, and then with the last pick, Stu Bruin played for the Moncton Wildcats. He will protect Lita-Kerr. The Jolly Green Giant has arrived. That's awesome. And then the end of the draft, I mean, nobody great, so it's not like we really missed out on anybody. Overall, a fairly uneventful draft between pick 1 and pick whatever it was. Our last pick. Our first pick, great. Our last pick, great. Everything in between, meh. Especially, I mean, aside from the medium starter goalie, that wasn't too bad. But the Pittsburgh Penguins did win the Stanley Cup. We'll take a look at their team and the awards as we call it an episode. Wow. Geno Malkin does it again, 27 points in 25 games, 24 for Crosby. Impressive that Pittsburgh's able to keep those two on the same team for this long. Hornquist, Kessel, Sheary, Gensel, Philip Deneau is a Stanley Cup champion. Matt Nieto and his mustache. Tyler Pitlick, Matt Calvert, Tyler Ennis, and Donald Bolesky, a former number 1 overall selection. On defense, it's Chris Letang, Matt Dumba, Oli Mata Slater, Cuckoo, Brian DeMoulin, and Jason Demers. The goaltender is Matt Murray, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Who did they beat in the final? They beat Calgary in 7 games. So the Flames did go to the Cup final. They were 1 win away from being Stanley Cup champions with an 81 overall goalie or whatever? Gotta love how that works. Tyler Seguin won the Art Ross and the Hart Trophy. Alex Pietrangelo wins the Norris. Seguin also wins the Lady Byng for the 3rd straight year. Eric Bronstrom won the Calder. Malkin won the Conn Smythe. No surprise there. The Vezina goes to Cam Talbot. The Jennings to Ranta and Vasilevsky. Josh Manson wins the Masterton. The Selke goes to Kopitar. He finally unseats Bergeron. Of course, this was our 4th year in the sim. Sagan won the Ted Lindsay, and Ovi wins the Rocket Richard. Down in the AHL, the Manitoba Moose have won back-to-back Calder Cups. Dennis Malgin put up the most points in the league. He is now with San Jose. He was also the league MVP. The goal-scoring king, though, Spencer Watson. We brought Spencer Watson onto the team, and he proved to be a pretty solid addition. I believe that's Linus Oland that ended up winning the Rookie of the Year. The Defenseman of the Year, the Eddie Shore Award, went to Artyom Manulin. Philip Gustafson was the Goalie of the Year. The MVP of the playoffs was Michael Hutchinson. And that is pretty much it for the major awards. So there you go. What an episode this was, huh? We start off kind of recapping what's been going on with the channel. We see that the Pittsburgh Penguins have won yet again. And how do you explain what just happened at the draft? I guess, in just straightforward terms, we traded Artemi Panarin, 2 prospects, and 2 first-round picks for Lucas Lita-Kerr, a franchise-level player who is good enough, of course, that it keeps us in contention moving forward into next season. So in the next episode, we will go ahead and go through the rest of the offseason as we prepare for our 5th year with the Whalers. Our team still might not be set in stone. We have $34 million in cap space, and while we do have some players that we need to re-sign, for the most part, I feel as though we should be fine, particularly as we head towards the free agent period. Although, we do have some RFAs that we might have to worry about. But for the most part, I think we're going to be good. Korpisalo and Subban both need deals. That could be expensive. But for the most part, I think we are good to go. Again, we might have to change a few things up, particularly if there's a free agent or 2 that we'd like to get. We haven't been opposed to doing that so far in this series. I hope you enjoyed this episode as we end it. It's been eventful, guys. It's been emotional. Do people still say that? Did people ever say that? I hope you enjoyed this family-friendly version of my Hartford Whalers franchise mode series. If you did, now more than ever, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It'll cheer me up while YouTube takes money out of my pockets. I'll see you guys next time. I'm very much looking forward to your comments, by the way, in regards to everything that happened in this episode. Have a good one. Take it easy. I'll catch you later.